Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome, dear devotees. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, Chapter number 3, The Lord's Pastime Out of Vrindavan. Very beautiful remembrance of Lord Krishna's pastime mentioned by Uddhava to Vidurji. Today's discussion, we will start from text number 10. But before we begin, let's do a quick recap of what we discussed yesterday. Hemangi Mataji, when you are ready.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, all the devotees, Danvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yesterday, we discussed the theme was that bad association and how the bad association can impact our spiritual life gradually. We discussed Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, third chapter, verses between 6 to 9. In the verse between 6 to 7, Uddhava was remembering Lord's pastime when he killed Narakasura. Narakasura was a son of Lord Bhumi Devi. Lord killed his own Narakasura when his demoniac activity was increased. Srila Prabhupada explains that even a child born in a good parents can turn into demons by the bad association. And it explains that how important it is to have a good association for ourselves and our family. Bhumi Devi is an expansion of Satyabhama. When Narakasura created a lot of havoc, and because Bhumi Devi took a boon from Lord that her son will be only killed, her son cannot be killed by anybody, and if it will be killed by her permission, so that's why Lord took her with in the battle, and Satyabhama saw that Narakasura is trying to kill Lord, and then she gave her permission to kill him. Between the verse 8 to 9, this pastime is about Bhaumaka kidnapping 16,100 princes and how the Lord rescued those princesses. When Bhauma was born, he was very strong and opulent, and he was the son of the Lord himself. And he had a big kingdom, very opulent life. He had a fame, but because of bad association of Banasura, he developed the demoniac quality. It is explained that again the theme is that the bad association, even though when we have the opulence, when we attract the bad association because they wanted to enjoy and relish what we have got, their sense gratification. So we have to be very conscious in how we use and utilize our opulence or Lakshmi that we have got. A good beginning does not, the learning point was that a good beginning does not guarantee a good destination. Even in the life of a devotee, an association will determine the destination throughout the life. So at the start, having a good start doesn't mean that we will continue to have a good. It's a continuous journey on a daily basis. At point in time we can be in good of we can be in a mood of goodness, we can be in mood of passion, and we can be a mood of ignorance. So it is very important that we assess ourselves, we test ourselves in association. The biggest association is along with the devotees is with ourselves, our mind. Also what type of content we are watching, because device is always with us. So we have to assess ourselves on a daily basis to just see if we are associating in a good or bad. Um, and the way that we can assess ourselves is by checking that whether it is helping us to come closer to Krishna. Does it helping us to increase in our bhakti? If not, then any other association is bad association. Um, Bad association doesn't destroy our bhakti, but it makes us stop caring and also become less serious in bhakti, and eventually it dries out. Eventually it put us in the trouble of offending other devotees. So with this I would like to conclude. If there are any points, please add that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hemangi Mataji. You are perfect summary. Whatever I speak in 35 minutes, you have done it in 4 minutes. So very nice. Thank you. You save a lot of time as well if you give classes and we can cover more. Thank you so much. All right, let's begin with text number 10.
Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandavat Pranam. So we are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 3, Text 10. कालमागध साल्वादिन अनेकैरुदन्तापुरम् अजीगणत स्वयं दिव्यम स्वपुम सामतेज आदिसत. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kalyavan, the king of Magadha and Salva, attacked the city of Mathura. But when the city was encircled by their soldiers, the Lord refrained from killing them personally, just to show the power of his own man. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
And can we do 11 as well?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna everyone. Dandavat Pranam to all. Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 3, Text 11. Sambaram dvividam banam muram balvalamevacha anyamscha danta vakradin avadit kamscha ghatayat. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Of kings like Sambara, Dvivida, Bana, Mura, Balvala, and many other demons such as Dantavakra, some he killed himself, and some he caused to be killed by others, Sri Baladeva, etc. Hare Krishna.
Amazing. Thank you. Here, Uddhava is remembering another beautiful quality of Lord Shri Krishna. Our focus of today's discussion, the theme will be the last line of the text number 10 and 11, the translation. That Lord refrained from killing some demons personally. Why? Because just to show the power of his own men as well. Srila Prabhupada also highlights about importance of that quality of the Lord, where Lord wants to glorify his devotees. Lord wants to give credit to others, credit to his devotees. See here in text number 10, the three personalities mentioned, Kalyavan, the king of Magadha, Jarasandha, and Salva. The three with different qualities, different learning points from these three we see. But especially here, Krishna didn't kill. We see Kalyavan, he didn't kill. We already discussed a couple of days back that how Kalyavan was chasing Krishna, and Krishna went into the Muchukunda's cave, and while Muchukunda was sleeping, and he called Muchukunda to kill Kalyavan instead of Krishna killing. And same with Jarasandha as well. Krishna arranged Bhima to fight with Jarasandha, and we have seen that like he splits the stick because Jarasandha, he was born out of merging two child, and then Krishna called Bhima to kill as well. So similarly, this quality of Lord Shri Krishna to give credit to others, to give glories to his devotees, we can see that in many different places as well. In the Kurukshetra war also, if Krishna wants with the Sudarshan Chakra, he could have wiped off everyone. If Krishna wants, he can kill, comes as a Nrsimhadev, he can kill Hiranyakashipu, come as Lord Ram, he can kill Ravana, he can kill the soldiers in the Kurukshetra war. But Lord decided not to take weapon. Lord decided to become a chariot driver. Lord's purpose was Vinashaya Chatuskritami. His purpose was to come and wipe off the miscreants. But Lord wanted to give credit to his devotees. And that's why he decided, I will just become a chariot driver. I will not take any weapons. And Arjun ko bola, Nimitta matra bhav savya sachi. You become an instrument and you take all the credits. So this is very important qualities of Lord Shri Krishna. Uddhava is remembering while he is talking to Vidura. And what is the proof? What is the proof that Arjuna did not killed all the soldiers, and it was because of Krishna, and Krishna made Arjuna as an instrument and want Arjuna to take the glorification. We see after the war finished, at the end of the 18th day Kurukshetra war, when it was the time to come off from the chariot, normally what happens other days, like the chariot driver comes off the chariot first, and then the main soldier or the person sitting in the back will come down. But on the last day, Krishna said to Arjuna, you get off the chariot first. And Arjuna says, why? Normally you get off the chariot first and I come down later. And Krishna says, today is special. Today is something different. And instead of answering, Krishna made Arjuna to get out of the chariot first. And when Krishna comes out of the chariot, the whole chariot gets a big explosion. and everything, the whole chariot is devastated, completely destroyed. And then Arjuna asks Krishna, and Krishna explains that, because so many weapons during this 18 day of the wars, there were so many weapons were coming, and many of them were able to kill you, destroy this chariot, and they were very powerful weapons. But Krishna was holding on to them. Krishna was absorbing them, and he was holding to get the reaction of that weapons for 18 days. And that is the proof that it's because of Krishna Arjuna was um participating in the war, and he got the credit. So just like parents, many times they want to glorify their kids. They give credit to kids. Kabhi kabhi, mother is making a sabji. Mother is cooking in the kitchen, and the child comes and cuts the vegetables or potatoes or something, and mother gives all the credit to the child. Oh, because you helped. Sometimes the mother says, "My child made the sabji," even though he would have just cut little vegetable or done some steering or something. And we tell our guests, sometimes we call our grandparents in India and say, "No, today he cooked." Yeah, even though we know he would have done little, but they like to give credit, and in different ways as well. Their parents want to glorify. So here, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, right in the middle of the purport of this 10th verse, the relationship of the Lord with his devotees is a very happy one. What a beautiful line. The relationship of the Lord with his devotees is a very happy one. So both want to give credit to one another. Lord wants to give credit to the devotees, and devotees want to give credit to the Lord. भक्त को कभी कुछ अच्छा होता है, वो बोलते हैं अरे सब कुछ भगवान ही करते हैं. If something goes very nice, if they are rewarded, if they get a something कुछ अच्छा हो जाता है लाइफ में, तो डिवोटीज से जो करता है भगवान ही करता है, भगवान की दया से. लॉर्ड इज वेरी मर्सीफुल, लॉर्ड हैज गिवन अस, वी अंडरस्टैंड दिस. In the terms of Arjuna pastime in the Kurukshetra war, also we understand that the Lord is the ultimate doer, Lord is the protector, and because of Krishna, Arjuna was, or the Pandavas were able to win the war. But so from devotees' perspective, we understand, yes, Arjuna is correct, or devotees are correct. Everything happens by Lord's mercy only. Otherwise, without mercy of the Lord, a blade of grass doesn't move. We know that. So that is correct. But how, when Krishna is giving, or Lord is giving credit to the devotees, how Lord is correct? How do we understand that? That when Lord is also not superficially, chalo sab kuch hota hai, you are also only doing. Lord is also not. They both are correct. Devotees are correct because Lord is ultimately doing. And when Lord gives the credit, Krishna is also correct. Why? We can understand that when all the devotees or all the living entities, they have a free will. स्वतंत्रता होती है, whether to participate in Lord's Leela or not, how to engage in Lord's service, or they can do something else also. So the devotees also have a free will. Like Lord Shri Krishna gave Arjuna a free will. Yathechasi tatha kuru. Do whatever you wish to desire. You have heard this, everything attentively. Do you want me to repeat it again? Deliberate on it, meditate on it, and then do what you want to do. So Krishna has also given free will to Arjuna, and now using that free will in the right way, accepting the orders of Krishna, and that's how Arjuna is participating in the war and winning the war. So credit goes to Arjuna as well. When Lord is giving credit to the devotees, he is not wrong, because Lord's purpose is to engage all the devotees in his service. Even in our life also, we have been given a free will, and it is Lord's desire that we engage in his service. So when we do some service, when we are engaged in service, it is we are using our free will in the right way. So both are correct. When someone is giving the credit to others, they both are correct. Lord is correct from his perspective, and devotees are also correct from their perspective as well. Like Hanumanji building the bridge of Lord Ram, Arjuna winning the war. So Lord engages his devotees in the service, and that's why they are rightful candidate or taking the credit. Srila Prabhupada also, if we see in his Leela pastime, Srila Prabhupada was giving credit to all his disciples. He was saying, because of all you, my disciples, I was able to create all this global ISKCON movement, and I was able to open all these centers. So Prabhupada was giving credit to his devotees. And the devotees were saying, his disciples were saying, Prabhupada, no, it's because of you. You are doing everything. We are just an instrument. You are only doing everything. You are only guiding. You are leading the whole global Hare Krishna movement, and you are doing. Then Prabhupada would argue that I was also in India, but I couldn't succeed. I had one disciple also in India, but I couldn't do anything. No tangible, significant difference in India. But because of you all, I was able to do it. And the disciples, they were also in America before Prabhupada arrived, but they couldn't do anything. So if you see the mood of giving credit to others, everyone, Prabhupada said, you are all doing, because of your help I am doing. The disciples, they are saying, no, because of you, Prabhupada, everything. So this mood brings to the very important learning point to give credit to others, which is exhibited by Lord himself here. Do not keep credit to our own self. If someone is praising, if someone is giving good words, it is our duty to pass on the credit to someone, to give the praise to others. There is a game called hot potato, where like a potato is hot and we immediately take and we give it to someone. Sometimes when we make a potato sabji, samosa banate hai ghar pe, and then when we are peeling the skin, if it's hot, we peel the skin. We boil first, we peel the skin, and it's hot. So फटाफट निकाल के रख देना होता है. In the same way, this praise or appreciation is called like a hot potato. Don't keep it to ourselves. Pass on to others. And that is what we see the mood. In the same way, we pass it to our Guru Maharaj, pass it to the other devotees, pass it to the other senior devotees who are around us. This is the duty of the devotees to glorify. But it is our duty not to accept the glorification, not to accept the praise or the appreciation. We just pass on to others. We take and pass on to others. नहीं, आपकी वजह से हुआ, नहीं, इनकी वजह से हुआ, हमारे गुरु महाराज की दया के लिए हुआ, भगवान की mercy, blessing से हो रहा है. We just pass on to someone. Radhanath Maharaj says very important, beautiful line. He says, when someone asked a question, how to handle this praise when we do some project, when we do some service very nicely, devotees come and praise. Devotees do appreciation because it is the Vaishnava etiquette. Then how to handle that? Radhanath Maharaj says that if devotees don't glorify, then they will fall down. So they have to do glorification. If devotees don't glorify, unka fall down ho jayega. So they will do glorification. But if we accept the glorification, we will fall down. So our job is to not accept the glorification, and their job is to do the glorification, for example. And what to do instead of not accepting? Just take it, pass it to others. Like Prabhupada given the example of tax collector. Take it and pass it to the others. And that is what we see in the mood of Krishna as well, that he wanted to give credit to others. That's why he made Muchukunda kill Kalyavan demon. He made Bhima to kill Jarasandha. And the real happiness is in giving credit to others. ठीक है, कभी किसी को तारीफ करते हैं, when someone is being praised or appreciated, it feels good. Yes, no doubt about it. It brings joy and happiness when someone is praising us. But that is very insignificant compared to the praise and joy or the happiness we get while appreciating others. And that's why Krishna is exhibiting this quality. Uddhava is remembering quality because Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Why Krishna is supreme enjoyer? He is the having all the pleasure. Why? Because he is having all this pleasure and enjoyment, supreme enjoyer, while giving credit to others. And that is very important learning point. All these different personalities are mentioned in this verse. Salva, we know Salva was a friend of Shishupal. And when when Shishupal was speaking all those offenses, 100 aprad, and when even Rukmini was captured, and because Salva was friend of Shishupal, he got very inimical. He became enemy of Lord Shri Krishna. And when Shishupal was killed, and that Rajasuya sacrifice, that time also, because of that, मेरे friend को ऐसे कैसे मार दिया, as a friendship भाव जागृत हो जाता है. And that's why Salva was very enemy of Lord Shri Krishna. Jarasandha's story is also interesting. What is mentioned here, Kamsa was a very powerful king, and he had many wrestlers to fight with. He loved to fight. And a very strong personality Kamsa, we know that. Once he was out and about, in the camping tour with all the wrestlers and everything. Jarasandha, the king of Madha, जो second word है इसका, in his Jarasandha के राज्य में, there was one very strong elephant. His name was Kuvalyapid. And that Kuvalyapid escaped the fence in the Jarasanda's kingdom, and it came out. And while roaming in the forest where this king Kamsa, along with other wrestlers, were having a camp, Kuvalyapid, that elephant, came there. And just looking at that, King Kamsa, he lifted the elephant with the trunk और उसको घुमा के फेंक दिया. He threw the elephant Kuvalyapid back from where he escaped from. And just by noticing this such a big strong elephant, and who is that person who not only lifted the elephant by a trunk but you threw him back to the place where he escaped from. When Jarasandha heard the news that someone very strong like this has come closer to my kingdom, ideally what will happen, Jarasandha would get the army of the soldiers and he would try to fight with that strong person, but very smart. And all these demons, if you see, they are very knowledgeable. Jarasandha, what he did, instead of fighting with Kamsa, he immediately got his two daughters and he got them married to King Kamsa to make it a affiliation. And then when they are married, they are a family member because he was very strong. So all these demons, you see, they are very like Ravana, or even when Hiranyaksha died, Hiranyakasipu is, when you read those verses in the chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, you feel like ये तो Bhagavad Gita बोल रहा है. Yeah. So all these demons, even Ravan ka Samhita, Ravan Samhita is also there. They are very knowledgeable. He was a very great devotee of Lord Shiva. He is very expert, learned scholar. So all these devotees, they know. But the only problem is they use their intelligence to go away from Krishna instead of using the intelligence to go closer to Krishna. And that is the problem. So what did Jarasandha did? He God married his two daughters to King Kamsa. And when Krishna went to Mathura, killed Kamsa, and then the daughters came to Jarasandha under father's protection, and that's how Jarasandha became the enemy of Krishna. Now, fighting so many times, we discussed how Jarasandha came with the army. Krishna leaves Jarasandha, but going on again and again. 18th time, he thought, now I will again get more strength and I will be able to defeat Lord Sri Krishna. And to get more strength, he wanted to do charity, the donations to the Brahmana as well. So Krishna, Bhima and Arjuna, they dressed up as Brahmana and they goes. At the time when it was giving charity to the Brahmana, Jarasandha ka jab samay aaya tha charity de, Krishna, Bhima and Arjuna, they goes. And then they say, choose one, you can fight with us. When Jarasandha knew that they are not Brahmanas, they are dressed up. But still, because they came as a Brahmana, Jarasandha said, I will grant. And they said, okay, now you can choose any one of us to fight with. And Krishna is not equal fight. And not with Krishna, not with Arjuna. Jarasandha chooses to fight with Bhima. And then the fight goes for a long time, 27 days. And then Krishna indicates Bhima that splitting the stick, because that's how Jarasandha's birth was, when the two wives ate half the fruit. The beautiful big story. And then how they joined together. So the only way to kill that demon was splitting them in half. So Krishna gave the credit to Bhima of that killing Jarasandha. So learning point from this verse is very important, to give credit to others, and if we give credit to others, the mood of cooperation comes. If we want to take the credit, the mood of competition comes in our heart. And if we give the mood of cooperation, that is very important. In our initiation party we had on Sunday, me and Jivananda Prabhu or Hemangi Mataji, we were there together, and there were like 10 people got initiated in this recently. And in this party, we give credit, I give credit, or Dabrupini give credit to Jivananda Prabhu, and because of you opened the house, because you were hosting, because of you, all this was possible, which is 100% correct. There is no doubt about it. They had the desire to host a Bhakti Vriksha, and because of that all these things have happened. And they, Jivanand Prabhu and Hemangi Mother, no, Prabhu, you were coming and you were giving the class because of that. So giving credit to others, that gives the real pleasure. And when we appreciate other devotees, that is the real, and that's why Krishna is also exhibiting that, and that is why Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. So we'll try to meditate on this mood today. Let's do 12 and 13 together.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Text 12. अतथ भ्रातपुत्राणां पक्षयो पतितान् नृपान् चचालाभू कुरुक्षेत्रम् येषाम् अपतां बले. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Then, O Vidura, the Lord caused all the kings, both the enemies and those on the side of your fighting nephews, to be killed in the battle of Kurukshetra. All those kings were so great and strong that the earth seemed to shake as they traversed the war field.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Text 3.3.13. Sakarna dusha sanavasau valanam kumantra pakena hata sriyayusam suyodhanam sanucharam sayanam bhagnorum urvam nanananda paschan. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki Jai. Duryodhana was bereft of his throne, fortune, and duration of life because of the intricacies of ill advice given by Karna, Dushasan, and Sobala. When he lay on the ground with his followers, his thighs broken, although he was powerful, the Lord was not happy to see the scene. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, very important. See, if you meditate on the translation, Uddhava is directly addressing to the Vidura now. Then, oh Vidura, the Lord caused all the kings, both the enemies and then on the sides of your fighting nephews. So, because the question was asked, Uddhava is giving the information of what happened after you left. Vidura, when you left the palace, what happened after that? There was a war between the two armies, and because of Duryodhana was taking the ill advice, the wrong advice of Karna, Dusasana, the wrong association, he was also killed. But very importantly, Uddhava, while remembering this, the war or the Duryodhana killed, he is mentioning the Lord was not happy to see the scene. Duryodhana, even though he was very strong, he lay on the ground with his followers, his thighs broken. Although he was very powerful, Uddhava is remembering the Lord was not happy to see that scene. Lord is not happy to award punishment to anyone. All the living entities, Prabhupada explains in the purport, all the living entities are his part and parcel. And Lord does not want to punish them. Even Duryodhana, he was doing all these bad things, but Lord still had love. He wanted to protect, he wanted to exhibit his love, but because of his actions, because of the wrong association and the wrong advice, he was behaving in such way, so he had to be protected, he had to be punished. But Lord was not happy to award this punishment. Krishna is punishing the person for his bad behavior. That is right. He is punishing many personalities for his bad behavior, but he is not hating that person. It is punishment is happening is out of love for him to protect that living entity. Every living entity is part and partial, and it's out of love, and which Uddhava is pointing it out. Lord was not happy to see that scene. We can quickly do 14 and 15 also, because it's further information Uddhava is giving to Vidurji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna everyone. Kiyanubhuvoyam kshapitorupaaro yadrona bhishmarjuna bhimamulai ashtadashakshauhiniko madamshai raste balam durvishaham yadun. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. After the end of Battle of Kurukshetra, the Lord said, the abatement of the earth's great burden, 18 Akshohinis, has now been effected with the help of Drona, Bhishma, Arjuna, and Bhima. But what is this? There is still the great strength of Edu dynasty, born of myself, which may be a more unbearable burden. Thank you.
Remember at least this line. Krishna is thinking, they are all killed, but what about the Yadu dynasty? They are unbearable burden. Krishna himself saying the family members born of himself, they are unbearable burden. Remember that. Okay, 15.
Text 15. Hare Krishna. Mito yadesham bhavita vivado madhyamadatam ravilochananam naisham vidhopai yanatonyo maya udyate nardadhate swayam sma. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. When they quarrel among themselves, influenced by intoxication, with their eyes red like copper because of drinking madhu, then only will they disappear. Otherwise, it will not be possible. On my disappearance, this incident will take place. Hare Krishna.
So when Lord Krishna thought about them, they as a burden, what did Lord do? They are born from Krishna himself, very strong personalities. How can they be defeated by anyone else? So it was Lord's arrangement to create a quarrel amongst themselves, and they fight. And because see, why Uddhava is mentioning this, Vidura asked about the welfare of all the family members and relatives. So he mentioned about the Kauravas, Pandavas, the war, what happened, and all the 18 Akshohini Senas were killed. And now he is moving the discussion further to the Yadu dynasty member, what happened to them as well with all the Krishna's families. Now, very important here, why Krishna is saying burden. And Prabhupada explains it so wonderfully in the purport about why. See, there are two types of burden of beast and burden of love. And he is mentioning about this burden as the family members. We have already discussed this before also, that how the Yadu dynasty, they were all the demigods, or they were the great personalities, appeared to participate in Lord Krishna's pastime. Some of them became puffed up, so they have to be corrected. And some of them, they were very nice devotees, perfectly done the service. They have to go back to their respective positions from where they came back. So that's why Lord had to wipe off all these things, every one of the Yadu dynasty members. Very specifically, Prabhupada mentions here that there is a difference between burden of love and burden of beast. Burden of love means, Prabhupada gives three examples in the purport. The first one is like a young wife who recently got married, and she has to serve the husband, she has to look after the husband and cook for husband. It may seem like a burden for a young wife to do so many things and to serve the husband, but that is a burden of love. Because of love, the wife is serving the husband, even though it may feel like a burden, but it is a burden of love. Second example Prabhupada gives is like a child on the lap of mother. It may feel like heavy, or it may feel like so much to do for a child, for a mother, and it may seem like a burden, but that is burden of love, because it's so much love is there. Another example Prabhupada gives is like a businessman who has a lot of wealth, or so much big business to look after. It may seem like a burden, so many things to look after in the business, but that is out of love. The business, the person loves the business, so it's a burden of love. So many different examples Prabhupada gives to explain this word, why Krishna is speaking such as a Yadu dynasty member as a burden. It is a burden of love. And because of the Lord's arrangement, they have to be wiped off, because the Lord's pastime is finished. So no one else can defeat them. Lord arranged, they get intoxicated, they fought amongst themselves, uh, and that is what Uddhava is remembering, that all the family members, Kauravas, Pandavas, 18 Akshoni Senas, they were wiped off. All the demons, so Kalyavan, Jarasandha, Salva, they were all wiped off. And now all the Yadu dynasty members, there was a war, fratricidal war among all them, they were also wiped off. So Uddhava is directly answering the questions what was asked about the welfare of everyone by Vidurji. All right, we'll stop here at text number 15. We'll start from text number 16 tomorrow. Summary.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. We started off from text 10. We spoke about how Kalyavan and Salva attacked Mathura. So Kalyavan and Jarasandha were killed by Muchukunda and Bhima respectively. And this shows the amazing quality of the Lord. He loves to give credit to his devotees. Although he could have done this job himself, he wants to make sure that his devotees are also fully engaged in his pastimes, and they're also getting credit. So you mentioned a very important learning from this. Whenever we are doing any service and somebody glorifies us, it is important to pass on the credit to either our acharyas, gurus, or the Lord himself, and not keep it with ourselves. So you mentioned the hot potato game, where it is not appropriate to keep credit. It is the duty of the disciples or devotees to glorify somebody who is performing a service. But at the same time, it is the duty of the person who is glorified to also pass on the credit appropriately. And then you mentioned the pastime of how Jarasandha was killed by Bhima by splitting his body and following the Lord's orders, more importantly, and splitting his body and throwing it in different direction to kill him.
Prabhu, then we spoke about or the battle of Kurukshetra. Then we spoke about how Duryodhan was unfortunately had to be punished, and when the Lord punishes his devotees or miscreants for improper activities, he himself is not pleased, but he does this as a duty to reform them. Prabhu, then we spoke about how the Lord finally wiped out the Yadu dynasty. So 18 Akshahonis of soldiers were killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, 11 from the Kaurava side and 7 from the Pandava side. But in the end, he also wanted to wipe off the Yadu dynasty because they would become a burden on the earth. And there are two types of people in the Yadu dynasty, one who have been puffed up and who need to be eliminated, and the others who are pure devotees, who are his associates, who also need to be taken back to the spiritual world upon winding up of the Lord Krishna's pastimes. So he achieved this by that pastime where Samba dressed up as a woman, and then that whole pastime happened where he got cursed by the rishi, and then they ended up fighting amongst themselves and eventually killing each other. So he made sure that when he winded up his pastimes, he also made sure that whoever came with him also went back with him to the spiritual world. Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It reminds me when Krishna created this war amongst themselves, the fratricidal war with the Yadu dynasty members. Like it may seem like there is no solution to the problem. अभी ये तो Lord's family members, there is no solution. How can they be defeated? But Lord can create a solution where there is no solution seems to be there. And it can be seen in many different places as well. For example, Govardhana, that Indra gave Samvardhaka clouds and flood and everything. Kaun bachayega? There is no shelter. But Lord lifted the Govardhan hill and made the shelter. Even if it appears there is no shelter, Lord can bring the shelter. When the Kalyavan and Jarasandha, they were attacking Mathura, there was no shelter, there was no place. But Lord created the Dwarika in the middle of the ocean. So all these Yadu dynasty members lifting the Govardhan hill, creating Dwarika in the middle of the ocean, what it points out that it may seem like for us there is no solution out of it, but Lord can create a shelter where there appears there it to be no shelter. Our job is to surrender, and it's Lord's job description is to give protection. So we have to focus on surrender only. And Lord, even though it appears there is no shelter, the Lord can give. So many different, Kalyavan pastime also there is a learning point. But Kalyavan was chasing Krishna. Kalyavan in his mind was thinking he's chasing Krishna, he's running behind Krishna. But actually, in reality, Krishna was leading Kalyavan to the cave. Because Krishna knew Muchukunda is in the cave, Krishna is going and the Muchukunda will be killing Kalyavan. So in our mind, many times we can relate that. We think that we are chasing Krishna, but it's actually Krishna is leading us, Krishna is blessing and guiding us while going. So it's same thing going, Kalyavan running, Krishna going, but it's the other way around, that instead of us chasing Krishna, it is Krishna leading us to the progress of bhakti. So many different pastimes are there. Yes, we can stop here and then we will take question of Nirvin Prabhu later. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.